Far From Home, 1989, a Drew Barrymore film. I will admit, normally a Drew Barrymore film will not sound like a Moviedrone type movie. Sure as hell doesn't sound this straight off the tongue. But the truth is, I didn't actually discover Far From Home until last year. I think it was about late last year. I think it was about this time last year I discovered Far From Home for the first time. And I must admit, Far From Home genuinely surprised me in how good it was. At least in my mind, at least in my eyes. I rewatched it again last night, ready for Moviedrone, just to be sure I was absolutely right that it's a Moviedrone movie. And yes, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to say it's a Moviedrone movie, even though it has Drew Barrymore, and Drew Barrymore was a more commercial actress. Definitely not the type of actress you would think would be Moviedrone movie material. But this and along with another one I'll be doing next week are Moviedrone movies. Hence the reason they're here. They're here on the list for this season. The cast list is amazing. Richard Mesa, Matt Frewer, Jennifer Tilly. More on her later. Dick Miller, the wonderful Dick Miller, who I just mentioned in Dead Heat, who actually wasn't in Dead Heat, but was in Dead Heat. Also, really have to see what I'm talking about there. Andres Jones, who's most famous at least in my mind, most famous for the fact that he was in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, playing the brother who gets murdered by Freddy, of course. There's all talking of weird casting. There's also Anthony Rapp, who plays Pinky. More on him in a minute. Actually, no, we'll do this now. Anthony Rapp, who also is most famous for Adventures in Babysitting. And here he is in this wonderful little oddball movie, just I think a few years later, which also Drew Barrymore in Far From Home. Drew Barrymore, this was basically during Drew Barrymore's bad girl phase, which essentially was basically when everyone knows about Drew Barrymore's past and what the hell she'd done, but she survived it. She's one of the few who actually survived her child acting days and actually grew up and actually become a very interesting actress, which still continues to this day. I mean, just take a look at Santa Clarita Diet. I think that's how you pronounce it. Santa Clarita. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. Santa Clarita Diet. To see how far she's gone up. It's obvious she's a horror fan. I've always said that Drew Barrymore was a horror fan, and the fact that she's into stuff like this nowadays, and a ton of horror proves that to me. And Far From Home has definite horror elements to go along with the weirdness, the wonderful weirdness the film has. Much like the film last week I did, Mirage. This one is also set in the desert. But there is actually a few people around other than a few people actually around are actually weirdos. Total weirdos. Nobody is completely 100% normal in this movie. Apart from unless you count Drew Barrymore's character and maybe a dad. No, sorry, three. I'm going to say three people. Jennifer Tilly is naturally weird, but naturally sexy and naturally eccentric, and actually who gives a fuck? She's sexy as hell. And here's the thing. I'm going to say about Far From Home. I've always found weird. This guy is single, and he has his two ladies in the caravan. No, don't get me wrong. The other actress is very wonderful, very lovely too. But let me get. But come on, when he first sees her. Jennifer Tilly is wearing a very tight, basically she's in a bra and panties. If I remember right, it's definitely a bra. Nothing but a bra on the feel like it's open up and all that. So it's a pretty open mind about her sexuality. And this guy doesn't try to pull her. There, but we're supposed to swallow that. Right, we're supposed to swallow. This is Jennifer Tilly. This is fucking Jennifer Tilly we're talking about here. Jennifer fucking Tilly. And this guy goes with the other lady instead. The first one he sees. I personally would have done both. Would have tried both of them because that's me. But still, I found that a bit unrealistic. I mean, Jennifer Tilly is basically there, but she's in she's basically there. She doesn't really have much of a character to her. But she does her best of what she had until she's given. She's just basically there until she's not there anymore. Spoiler, but she's there for a while. I suppose it was 1989, so I suppose you could argue this movie is a slasher. It has definite slasher elements. I mean, people are getting killed. There's one scene in particular which is definitely in the role of a slasher. slasher has a slasher of closely in, has a slasher element to it. Definitely towards the end, it's a definite wonderful moment that I personally thought was great, well done. Directed by Far From Home is of course directed by hold on a second, folks. Mirat Avis, I'm terrible with names. Mirat Amis, who basically go. From what I've looked him up, basically he apart from this is his only movie role, as far as I could see. He's largely just has directed and produced music videos, big popular music videos. But this is the only movies he's done, which is I find highly odd, because it's a terribly directed movie. The guy could have done amazing work with other movies, but for some reason he just wanted to do music videos. I'm assuming there's more money there, more money in music videos for him. I'm assuming Far From Home was just something he wanted to do. There's no. I haven't been able to look it up. I had time to really have done research for this. I can tell you that Far From Home is pretty much lost to even Drew Barrymore fans, because I've never seen anyone talk about this movie, which is unusual to me because it's such an interesting concept. Well, such an interesting film. Set in the desert, so you can't. They've got no guests. The father and daughter have got no guest. Of course, played by Drew Barrymore, and she is 13, 14 in the movie. More on that at the end of the review. But yeah, but basically she's there to be basically she's not there to be to go, oh, help me, and all that crap. She does come across as an interestingly proper 13-year-old, 13 coming on 14. Her character goes from 13 to 14. She has a birthday, so 14 as the film progresses. But she plays it as a genuine 13, 14-year-old girl, which she was in real life. I mean, she was at the time a 13, 14-year-old girl. But the way Drew plays it is actually really well done, my personal opinion. I never really realised that Drew Barrymore actually can act when she wants to. She does a good job here. She does a very good job in how she plays the character. God knows what she thought of the script. I mean, the script is odd as hell. As I said, the characters are all odd and highly eccentric, but I love them. I love these characters. I was enthralled by them. I was so sad when they got killed, the ones that got killed, or almost killed in some cases. But even the one, as I said, there was a few twists. Lastly, the Moviedrone audience will get these twists and they'll see them miles away coming. But the truth is, it's all about the eccentricity rather than the plot, and the slashiness. There is a slasher element. The reason to watch this movie. Really interesting concept. I'd say Jennifer Tilly. That should sell it to lumber people alone. I mean, Jennifer Tilly. I mean, that's how is it. Who once again doesn't have much to do, but what she does have to do, good enough. I had no problem with Jennifer Tilly being Jennifer Tilly. And if you have a problem with Jennifer Tilly being Jennifer Tilly, what the hell's wrong with you? Seriously. Anyway, there is one niggle I do have the movie. One little niggle. And that is, especially what we know about Hollywood these days. Drew Barrymore is sexualized in the movie. Nothing these days, I suppose that's the thing. I mean, let's face it. 14, as we don't want to admit it, 14-year-old girls do have sex. 14-year-old girls can have sex now and again. No, I know it's a shocking thing to say, but that's sadly what happens. Realistic. So on that element, the film is realistic. But she doesn't actually have sex in the movie, so thank God. I mean, Christ, how creepy would that be? But the film is still very creepy in the fact that she's sexualized. This camera very much sexualizes her. She was a genuine 14-year-old girl at the time of filming, and she's been sexualized with the camera, especially in one scene where she's in a swimsuit. She's swimming in the pool. Very creepy in the fact that in the way it's done, because she's very much being sexualized. In that, as a look at this fella's car, look at this like people, look at this lovely looking lady. She's 14 years old, folks. She was 14. Director, she was 14 years old, and you are going, look at that. Ugh, gave me the creeps. One blip. It's only one little blip. It is kind of creepy when you think about it. The fact that she was only 14 years old at the time. But then again, now what we know about Hollywood, That's what we can say. It's up to you to decide. Was she being sexualised, or was it just being done as part of the film? Oh, there's a lot we could do. I could do a whole thing on that shit. Maybe I will one day. But for now, I could do a whole thing on that. I could do a whole thing on this whole movie. To say the truth, the really good stuff would be something that I could talk about for ages. But I just want to do a small video here to introduce the movie. This isn't a in-depth thing on the movie. You're gonna have to wait for that beyond that. You'll have to wait. I might do one day. I can say that I love this movie for what it is. And I'm very surprised not many more people know about it or talk about it. There is arguably a good reason for it, and that's because the chances are people have looked at that cover, most boring cover for this ever for this movie. There's two of them. They're both boring as shit. One's got just Drew Barrymore on the cover, the young 14-year-old Drew Barrymore on the cover, really lazy, boring cover, and the other's got the guy from A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 and Drew Barrymore. It looks like a fucking coming of age love story. Is what it looks like. It looks boring as hell. It put me off. Honestly, it almost put me off watching this fucking movie because of that fucking poster. Boring as shit. Don't ignore that shitty poster. Ignore. Oh, by the way, if you're thinking this film is a love, that poster is also fucked up because of the fact Mr. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 ends up trying to. You'll have to watch the movie to find out. But let's say he tried something with her. And it doesn't go anywhere, but he almost does, and his character almost does, and it's kind of fucked up. And it also makes it fucked up because the tagline for this movie has a more of a disturbance. It now adds a bit more of a disturbance to it because the tagline is: one boy wants to love her, one boy wants her dead. The first, I don't know which is more disturbing, knowing that what the concept of the movie is now. Which more tagline is more disturbing?